Hey guys, David here, and welcome to Digital Outlook. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. If you wait, I think it's going to be too late. I think we are moving at warp speed. We are about to see a big rally in XRP, and I really feel that it's going to happen a lot sooner than what a lot of people think. In fact, I was reading an article, and this is coming out from Patrick Riley. Now, Patrick Riley, for those of you who don't know, is somebody who is really actually quite amazingly intelligent in this space. I've actually been to conferences where he has been a speaker and I've been a speaker. I've listened to some of his lectures, and I am telling you what, the guy is amazing, absolutely amazing. Anyway, he does some technical analyst and stuff like this. And in this particular article, Patrick Riley, and by the way, the founder of Reaper Financial, he is actually coming out there and he's saying, look, by September 1st, we could see another major rally for XRP. And from what he has seen on the charts, and by the way, guys, this guy does charts in 3 dimensions. And he says, just because I can. And I was actually laughing because that just sounds like Patrick. For anybody who knows Patrick, the guy is just so intelligent. And I'll tell you what, I really do feel that we're about to see something fast. And that's why I say if you wait, it could be too late. A lot of people are kind of waiting on the sidelines. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to see what happens, all this and this. And how many times have I actually seen folks sitting there waiting on the sidelines, not really making any kind of move either way, not getting themselves really prepared for it, none of that kind of stuff, not thinking strategically down the road. And then all of a sudden, bang, something happens that is absolutely explosive and they can't catch up with it. And want a perfect example of that? Think of XRP during the presidential election. Before that, boy, were we consolidating between 40 and 50 cents for a long time. And all of a sudden, boom, XRP took off like a rocket. And right now we're up, over 500% from where we were there? Yeah, that's how fast it can happen. And the thing is this, I have actually coached people that have told me, listen, David, somebody that I really care about, they were telling me about XRP, and I knew about it before the presidential election. And, I kind of waited on it. And then all of a sudden, bam, it was just way up there. And you know what? They got in January. They got in February. They got in after a big time move. Now, does that mean I think they're not going to see any moves for themselves? Oh, no, I think they're going to see some moves. But when you're sitting there and you're feeling it, you've been around the block, you've been in this space for a long time, and you got all of these TA guys basically singing the same song. And you're sitting there and you're looking at a 350, 340. I think right now we're at 330 XRP. And a lot of people say, it's not going anywhere. It's all this, all that. Guys, didn't we hear that when it was $2? Are you still listening to that kind of nonsense? And you're waiting on, I guess I'll see if it comes down, maybe, and on and on and on and on. Guys, that is the beauty of dollar cost averaging, isn't it? The dollar cost averaging person actually statistically has been proven has come out way further ahead than those that just try to pile in at one time, pile out at one time, all that kind of stuff. You want to be thinking about that. You want to get out there and you want to do the research now. Because if you're not doing it now, when the move happens, you're going to be thinking, oh my goodness, I wanted to accumulate back there when it was like $3. Well, now it's like $9 and I can't even, wait from where it was. Look, it's going to take 3 times the effort to get to where I want it to be. That's how I look at it. That's why when we see these dips, I don't get panicked. I get excited. That's when Judy and I accumulated the biggest portions of what we hold. It was in the dips. Now, something else that I want to bring out, and this is coming from a very good friend of this channel. In fact, the guys who actually produce all the hats and stuff like that. And by the way, if you're looking to get this particular hat and hats like it, because people have asked, you go to digitaloutlookgear.com. It's just digitaloutlookgear.com. And you can pick it up there. Now, we don't receive not even 1 red penny from that. I just put my name behind it and said I would encourage it and all that kind of stuff because I wanted people to get really good quality merchandise for XRP in this space. But it's really, that is their own business and that kind of stuff. Well, anyway, the guy that does produce this, his name is Dave. And he had wrote me today because the guy lives in Canada. owns his business up there. By the way, Drive Design, Dryve Design. And he was sharing with me how he went to make a transfer of $5,000 to an exchange there in Canada. And his particular bank had decided, nope, we're not going to allow it. Couldn't do it electronic. Said, oh, you need to call. Finds out they actually froze his bank cards, froze his bank accounts. Now, the guy is a major businessman. I mean, he has got all kinds of businesses going on. And for 5,000 measly bucks, they froze his account and would not allow him to make that transfer. That tells you everything, guys, you need to know. They know what's coming. I'm going to tell you right now, I believe this wholeheartedly, these major institutions, they know what's coming. Why, oh why, oh why do they have such a problem with you taking your hard-earned money and putting it over there? And in Canada, look, they will limit a person for $30,000 annually. Now, that may seem like a lot to a lot of people, but the reality is it's really not that much when you consider where this space has been. They don't seem to want you and I, and you got jurisdictions around the world, over in the UK, in various countries in the world, that don't want to allow us to actually have the opportunity to benefit from what's coming. Oh, it scares the dickens out of them. They're treating it like we're up to no good. Up to no good. Look, this space is an absolute fact, and they all know it. Every major bank in Canada, by the way, partner of Ripple, and they know what's coming. They know the infrastructure that's coming. They know how the whole thing is going to be laid out. In Canada, they've been working on their CBDC since 2015. You just look up the Jasper project. That is public information now. At one time, it wasn't so public, but now it is. I can say it. But they are out there working for this on this platform right there. And you can see the handwriting on the proverbial wall. And I think if a lot more people wait, it may very well be too late. And the reason for that is you may not have the access to actually get on there. How many of exchanges have left Canada? I mean, you got Uphold, they left. Binance left. Caleb and Brown left. And Caleb and Brown, by the way, they have been in Canada for years and years and years. The environment is changing, guys. And they know it. And when I say they, I am literally talking the powers that be. The big dogs up on top of the hill there that don't want you and I to actually be able to climb out from underneath their paws. I'll tell you that right now. I do believe that. There is this strategic thing afoot, and the traditional banking system, they know exactly what's coming. How do they know? Well, the ISO 222 messaging standards. In Canada, by the way, they're all partners of Ripple. Now, this is not just happening in Canada. I'm using this as an example, but it's happening over the wide world. Don't sit and wait. Get out there and research it. Pull back the curtain before the opportunity for you to actually have access to these markets and to these assets at the prices they are now, and maybe being able to interact with them could be off the table. And that's it. And you will watch the fortunes of so many, I absolutely believe it, change just like that. Guys, I'm telling you something. Right now, when you think of the percentage of people in the wide world that are exposed to this digital asset space, I mean the totality of it, maybe 1%, 2%? Do you realize what the percentage is for XRP holders in the wide world? Just go look at the XRP rich list. You can find that out right quick. There's not many, guys. And if you're holding any at all, and in fact, if you're able to reach those milestones, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 XRP, I'm going to tell you something. You should congratulate yourself, because that is a big time deal. It sure the heck is. I mean, to get yourself to 10,000 XRP cost you over 30,000 US dollars. Think about that. How many people do you think out there have that kind of dough kicking around? I mean, there are folks I'm coaching right now, and they're working towards achieving those goals, but they're getting themselves mentally strategic. They're not going to let themselves be left behind of probably the biggest wealth transfer in the history of mankind. How many opportunities? I can tell you right now, look, I'm 57 years old, throw that out there. I can tell you right now, I missed out on some big time opportunities. You know, when the home computer was coming out, so many people looked at that like it was just a toy. I remember my father bought me a Timex Sinclair. I mean, if anybody remembers that, they had like 8K of RAM. It was like this thing, you know, you'd hook it up to a tape deck and it would take 30 minutes to load some program on there. Most people thought of the home computer as a toy. and within just a couple of years revolutionized the wide world. And could you have made a fortune in that? Could you have ever? I mean, investing in some of the, and by the way, they called them clones back then. Why? Because somebody went out and reverse engineered, I think it was a 286 or something IBM computer, reverse engineered the BIOS, and then they would clone that, and you needed software to run on it. Well, guess what? Quick and dirty operating system came out. You know what that changed into? DOS. Who had DOS? MS-DOS. Microsoft. Microsoft came into play. Guys, a small investment in that company would have revolutionized your life back then. Then what else happened? Well, the internet came about, didn't it? And boy, people were romanticized. I mean, we had you got mail, you had this, you had that, and on and on and on. And just a small little investment in some little known companies back in the beginning of days like that could have revolutionized your life. Look at where Amazon is today. Can you imagine? And before Google ever came along, Alphabet, Google and all that, there were other ones out there, right? Who remembers Alta Vista and all those guys? And because they would not innovate, they wouldn't change, people ignored it and on and on. That opportunity went, and then, of course, the granddaddy of them all. How many of us have a Bitcoin story? So many. And then the iteration of social media and on and on and on. Do you really want to sit back and miss one of the greatest changes the world is ever going to see, the fourth industrial revolution, and not at least go out there and owe it to yourself to research that, to see if there's opportunity there for you, and even just a little bit could turn into a huge deal? I'm telling you guys, don't wait. Don't sit and wait until it happens. And you're always living life through the rear view mirror, aren't you? You're always watching, well, what could have been? What this and that? How many this? How many? Oh, if I only had it just went up and, asked her to dance. If I only had it just, if I only. Is that going to be tipped on? If he only, if she only? Kai, do you want that on your tombstone? Or do you want people saying, you know what? Thank God for Grandpa. Thank God that he saw what was going down, and it changed our families' lives for generations. Right there, that's how I'm thinking, guys. And I've seen it happen in my own life, and I poo-pooed it myself way back when. Judy told me about Bitcoin, begged me practically to get in. And I said, we want nothing to do with it. And that was back in the very beginning, before there were exchanges or anything. The block reward for Bitcoin back when I knew about it was 50 Bitcoin. Can you imagine? That was the block reward. And people were doing it through IRC. It was called Internet Relay Chat. And it was kind of like a protocol that worked on the internet to do, chatting and stuff like that. And they'd be paying one another in PayPal and getting paper wallets and all this kind of stuff. And the people that, I was investigating at the time, because I was a special enforcement officer, most of them were really bad people. It was either deviants or drug dealers or whatever. And so my bias kept me out of it. What an opportunity that was missed. I kid you not. Could have revolutionized our lives, turned us into billionaires. Billionaires, I kid you not. But needless to say, when this whole thing was going down in 2020, we clued in. And I started to research. Had all that time at home. Research. It's revolutionized our lives, guys. That's why you do not see a sponsor on this channel, because I want you to get out there and hear our unfiltered, biased opinion right there. You can take it as you like it, whatever you want, but I'm telling you, that is my 100% biased opinion of what we're seeing, and it's based on all the research that I did. And I'll tell you what, it has revolutionized our lives, guys. You just don't want to miss it, and I don't want you missing it either. I want you standing right there, as I love to say, in the center of that winner circle when we cross that finish line. And guys, I think it's going to happen way sooner than what most people even can imagine. So I'll tell you what, until tomorrow, when we are going to have another fantastic coffee chat, guys, have a fabulous one and take care.